All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a daily forecast for tomorrow, which is going to be June 16th. So Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. All right, let's start by looking at the economic calendar here. So today, we did get, oh, no, we didn't get the Bank of Japan interest rate hike. We didn't get it yet. I don't know why, but it's tentative now. So we'll see what happens with that. But tomorrow we do have Australian dollar news and JPY, which is also a tentative. So that could change here. We'll see what happens. Overall, we have decent news coming out. We just don't have any USD news. And if we take into account, sorry, I'm just going to pull back the economic calendar here. If we take into account that FOMC is Wednesday, then tomorrow, Tuesday, should be a consolidation or at least low volatility. Okay, so it's important to be aware of that and to be careful. So right now, remember on the dollar, we had this weekly fair value gap, which it seems like we are initially respecting. So from that weekly fair value gap, I would want to wait for a 4 hour fair value gap here being created. So, when the next 4 hour candle closes, it's about coming back here and seeing, did we create that 4 hour fair value gap? If yes, then you can look to take a long from it. So now let's take a look at the majors. So AU is actually extremely interesting here. Let me show you. Mm, Just gonna remove some drawings here because it's kind of messy. So right here we have the fair value area that's overlapping with a weekly fair value gap right here. And right now, it does seem like we are respecting this pretty nicely. And now the next target is the rejection low right here. And so on the daily, it looks good. And then on the 4 hour, again, on the 4 hour, I would want to wait for a 4 hour to get created here. But that is interesting for sure. Keep an eye on it. Probably not tomorrow, but probably on Wednesday. Could be very interesting. Now, GU to continue lower. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but again, I see the case where we could potentially create a 4 hour fair value gap here and continue lower from it. So let's add it to the interest list, but it's not interesting right now. It's not interesting for as soon as tomorrow. I think the moves are mainly going to happen on Wednesday. Now, EU, yeah, that's not great. Again, I would wait for a 4 hour fair value gap. It's the same story for every single major here. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So now we have this target, which is last week's low. Okay, I like this wick at the top here on the daily. Yeah, that could be not too bad as well. The majors look good, but obviously this is all only if the dollar continues higher. Because if the dollar starts going lower here, then all of these setups are invalidated, basically. USD Canadian. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This USD Canadian I don't like so much. It's a consolidating trend here in the past 4 days. So Let's stay away from this for now. Okay, USD CHF is well, I was gonna say beautiful, but it does look really good here. So we have this as a first target, and right now we are pushing higher from a weekly bullish fair value gap, which looks really good, by the way. It's a very high probability fair value gap. Yeah, I mean this is probably the best major right now. Yeah, this is a this is beautiful here. So again, I would just want to wait and see if we can create a fair value gap. And finally, USD JPY. Yeah, that looks a lot like USD Canadian. I see the case where it could continue higher and reach that target, but it's just consolidate. Like this entire move here is very ugly. All right, well, for the majors, the two best ones are definitely first, my number one pick would be USD CHF, and then second would be AU. And then the other ones, they're good, but not great. But these two are pretty good. So if the dollar moves higher tomorrow, then you want to look for short on AU and a long on USD CHF. The metals. So overall, that's what I was expecting today on gold. On the metals, I was expecting higher prices. We did open with a massive gap to the upside, so that didn't really help. But overall, here on gold, I had this Fibonacci drawn out, and I wanted two things to happen. I wanted this rejection high to be swept on the daily, okay? And I was expecting also a sting into the fair value area, which is exactly what happened. It price could have also retraced all the way back to the golden level, but I wanted it to at least reach the fair value area, which it did, and I was able to catch a nice short trade off of that. Um, so now, from the daily time frame perspective, it seems like in 7 minutes we're going to close, and we should be closing under the zero point 0.5 level. So now it's all about seeing if tomorrow is going to be a consolidation, can we at least fail to create that daily fair value gap? That would be great. But we'll have to see. I don't expect much on gold other than a consolidation tomorrow. Okay, that's really important. But let's see if we can fail to create that bullish fair value gap. But that respect right here, that precision, how it like just, went like it just respected perfectly the fair value area and swept this rejection high and then completely moved lower. So this is good probability price action, high probability price action here for me. So kind of the same thing here on silver, where we have that weekly fair value gap on silver, which that weekly fair value gap is also overlapping with the zero point 0.5 and a fair value area. So again, today I was expecting price to reach back into the fair value area to start going lower, which it started doing. And now we are about to create a 4 hour fair value gap right here. Okay. So let's see if we can have a rejection tomorrow, if we can fail to create that daily fair value gap at least. But I still see the case where the metals could continue lower in the next few days. Now, moving on to crude oil. So, crude oil, as expected, it opened with a massive gap to the downside. And so we had a sting into the fair value area and inside the monthly fair value gap. So that's done. Now, keep in mind, we are inside a monthly fair value gap, which I expect higher prices from. Um, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong about this, but I don't know. I listened a lot to Bloomberg today, and yes, okay, there's again apparently a deal, but no one has really confirmed it, and there's still a lot of sticking points. There's still a lot of things on which both parties don't agree, and so again, in my mind, it's just another manipulation, another you know, manipulation by Trump, I believe. So we'll see. And also, like if you look at other markets, like stocks, for example, like oil stocks, just look at Chevron or Shell. Um, it's the exact same setup, literally the same thing. We all, every single of these stocks got a sting back into a monthly fair value gap, and all of these stocks also look like they want to continue higher. I actually bought some oil stocks today. So that's how strongly I believe that from here, price could start going higher. We'll see. I could be wrong. But right now, on crude oil, we did create a daily fair value gap, which is huge, but it's here. It blends in with that big gap. So right now, it's about seeing are we going to reject from it or are we going to disrespect it? So again, tomorrow, I'm not expecting much here from crude oil. Not expecting much. Bitcoin went higher today, so we finally reached that fair value area. Um, we didn't reach inside this higher daily fair value gap, so I think that again tomorrow we can continue a little bit higher, but I think that as soon as we reach inside that further daily fair value gap, then we're gonna have a real move going lower. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for now, I'm not expecting like big directional movements on Bitcoin, mostly consolidation probably. And so the indices, yeah, so I might be very wrong about the indices from what I said yesterday in the weekly forecast. I could be very wrong about this, honestly, because today we opened with a massive gap, and look at this. 2.6% on the S&P and then 4% on Nasdaq. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And so logically speaking, I have to be objective about this. We're heading for a new all-time high. The correction is not here yet. Um, so yeah, I would say on the indices, higher prices, I have to admit I was wrong. All right, now let's move on to the crosses before ending this forecast. So the JPY pairs, we didn't get the interest rate decision yet, so that could still be interesting. Right here, we still have the daily fair value gap. CHF JPY can also still reject from the weekly fair value gap. Let's keep it on the interest list. Australian dollars JPY, same thing, can still continue lower. Canadian dollar CHF, that is not as good, I would say. I do prefer the JPY pairs, so I'll keep it on the interest list right now, but if tomorrow we reach this low, then I'll remove it from the interest list. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, yeah, that's not great. We'll still keep it just in case. GBP Canadian dollar, okay, that's not too bad. We can still get that retracement back inside the daily fair value gap to continue higher. That's still good. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Okay, so we're moving higher now. We're moving higher. So that completely reversed. We'll keep an eye on it as well. And then Euro, New Zealand dollar doesn't seem like it wants to head lower. So this one I'm going to remove from the interest list. Okay. So again, I think tomorrow is going to be low volatility. We don't have a lot of news coming out. So I would wait for Wednesday, to be honest. For all the crosses, they're not interesting right now. It's going to be more interesting probably tomorrow. And well, what I mean by tomorrow, I mean Wednesday, sorry. The indices, higher prices, I don't see a huge reversal happening, even though I would love it. I just don't see that happening tomorrow. And finally, on the majors, the dollar could be interesting. Let's keep an eye on it with AU and USD being the most interesting ones. On the metals, I still see lower prices, but it's all about seeing if we can create or not that bullish daily fair value gap. But overall, I'm still seeing lower prices here on the metals. And then crude oil, we'll have to see how price reacts to this daily fair value gap. And finally, Bitcoin, just nothing crazy that I anticipate tomorrow here on Bitcoin. So, all right, guys, that's it for the daily forecast. And thank you for listening. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.